again, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Brown's Latest. I'm Dave Grendzynski, but you can call me Grizzer. A lot of people do, and this is where we get you caught up on some of the latest news and the tidbits that are tied to our favorite team in the NFL, the Cleveland Browns. And it's a dawn of a new era in Cleveland. We have a new coach. Thank you to everybody who has liked our previous episodes. Thank you to all of you who have subscribed to the channel. We are less than 100 away from 13,000, so please phone the neighbors, wake the kids, let them know. Hopefully, we will be celebrating 13,000 subscribers with a fit change along with our celebration for our new coach. And then thank you to everyone who gets their comments down in the viewer comment section. I can't thank you enough. So we were one of the first teams in the NFL to fire our head coach. And we're one of the last to find their new head coach, but the search is finally over. If you're wondering why it took so long to make this decision, it's because the Browns were trying to make what some might say is the toughest decision in sports. Bill Belichick, not a first-time Hall of Fame ballot entry. Wow, can't believe it, but it reminded me of a story about a quarterback who had first-round talent and fell to the fifth round. And then down in the viewer comments, what it will take for the Cleveland Browns to be a good team next season. All right, there we go. So, okay, we were down to three. It was Nate Scheelhaase, the Rams pass game specialist, Jim Schwartz, the Browns defensive coordinator, and Todd Monken, the former Ravens offensive coordinator. And guess what? Todd Monken is your new head coach of the Cleveland Browns, the 19th one that we've had. And here's the part of the resume. I mean, the guy's been around for a long time. When he got to Baltimore, I mean, this was off a successful run as the offensive coordinator at the University of Georgia. Of course, he was the Browns offensive coordinator in 2019 when Baker had his best year passing. And then in his first season with the Ravens, helped Lamar become, won his second MVP. Following that season, their offense finished number one. Monkin's NFL experience also includes a 3-year stint as wide receiver coach for Jacksonville. He was also OC at Tampa Bay, so he's got plenty of experience on the offensive side. And so quickly, here's the list now. There's only the Cardinals and the Raiders. They're going to fight over Kubiak. Who knows? Maybe the LaFleur from the Rams will go to the Cardinals, and then Scheelhaase will probably get promoted. But there you go. The Bills, Joe Brady. I've been telling you that for a week and a half, that Joe Brady would be their new head coach. He is. And then there's the rest of the list. But finally, we have been added to the list of new coaches in the NFL. Todd Monken is the choice, and they wanted to go offense all along. And I'm telling you, folks, you have to be excited about this. What he was able to do with Lamar Jackson in the short time he was there and turn him into not just a running threat, but a passing threat, and turn him into an NFL MVP. I mean, you have to be excited about that. The other thing you have to be excited about, he knows the division. We've been talking about this for weeks. Todd Monken comes from the division. He understands the division. He understands what it takes to win in this division. He understands everything about the division. You have to win the division first. If you win the division, then guess what? You're in a playoff berth. And that's when you're starting to talk about home playoff games and home field advantage throughout. That's where it starts. Look at New England. Look at Denver. Look at the teams that go deep. They're winning the division first, and Monken gets it. And on top of all that, he will want to stick it to Baltimore every time we play him. I love it. And he really wants to stick it to Pittsburgh, too, because that was a fierce rivalry when he was in Baltimore. And Cincinnati, they don't really matter because they have no defense and their offense is unraveling. And so we will destroy them 2 games a year, every year for the next 25 years. This is the perfect situation for us to be in. I really I was leaning experienced head coach, and so now Monkin, and then you'll have Schwartz there to run that defense, because I know Monkin's not dumb enough to let Schwartz walk away from this great defense. So, and I'm sure those were the discussions that were going on. Can we all live together? Now, the thing is this, though. The collateral damage in all of this head coaching search is this. Look at the list of new offensive coordinators that have already been signed up. There's 8 of them. I'm sorry, 8 of them filled already. But look at this. This is hard to believe. There are 9 still open. Look at the list of teams, including us, that are now looking for an offensive coordinator. So this is a bit of a collateral damage from the 10 head coach firings that we saw this year. And so it's a big list. And so there's going to be a lot of competition for offensive coordinators still. I mean, to have 18 offensive coordinator positions open up, does that not tell you this is a league that's built around the offense? Does that not tell you this is a passing league? Does that not tell you that I know defense wins championships, but how highly NFL teams value offense? It's just, that tells you everything you need to know. If you got to get your offense together or you're out the door. Unless you're Kevin Stefanski, you get 6 years to try and run your offense into the ground. But this, to me, is it was going to be a great situation either way. But I love this situation better because I like keeping Monkin. Now you got two coaches. One's a former guy that understand the division, and so maybe the OC we get could lean that way. There's a bunch of different candidates out there, and so that's going to be the next big step. But Todd Monken, the new Browns head coach, and to me, I think I am 100% on board with this decision. There is no doubt in my mind this was a great way to go, and this is the way the Browns were looking at it. The second Harbaugh got fired and Monken was thrown onto the beach, to have an opportunity to get a guy who worked with and developed Lamar Jackson the way he did, and now he can work with Shedeur and develop Shedeur. I mean, what more could you possibly ask for at the end of this search? I am extremely happy. I think this is a great move going forward for Shedeur, for the team. We keep Schwartz. The guys are happy. This is a great situation. Now we need to get the offensive coordinator thing figured out. Why did it take so long? Well, I'll tell you what. I heard Terry Pluto talking about this the other day, and he's absolutely right. Finding a head coach in football is the toughest of all the major sports. The head coach in football has the most direct, consistent in-game coaching impact, followed by baseball and then basketball, and we'll get to it. Here's why football. This is why it's so hard to find a football coach. Not just on the NFL. I mean, almost probably on every level, but especially the NFL. It's because every offensive and many defensive snaps are called from the sideline. So scheme, play call, matchups, they're all coach-driven on basically every single play. Game plans are opponent-specific, and they're very complex. The installs, the scripting, the situational calls, all the stuff Stefanski was horrible at. It makes the team's identity largely a product of the staff. So it's not just the head coach, it's the guys he brings along with him. It's the staff, too, that has an incredible amount of influence on every single game. And speaking of the games, a single bad decision, like a 4th down choice, clock management, coverage checks, all the stuff Kevin Stefanski was horrible at, can flip a one-score game into a loss. And remember, you only get 17 chances at this a year. Baseball, you got 162 games. Basketball, you got 81 games, or 82 games, whatever it is. Like you got over 80 games there. You got 162 in base. You got plenty of chances. In football, NFL, you get 17 chances to do this. And so we got to remember this too. Well-coached teams, they also decrease in penalties, decrease in things like fumbles if you're coaching them up the right way. Special teams, again, how the staff, we saw how special teams was so detrimental to us last year. And so football coaches, man, and it starts at the top with the head coach, like they completely impact everything. That's why this was such a tough decision to make, like for the Browns. And so they vetted it, they went through it, they got their person, and now we can move forward. Structurally, football gives coaches the most control over each play. That's why this is such an important decision. Baseball is second. Baseball, manager controls a lot of different things. I mean, and you know, if you think baseball is boring, that's where I cringe a little bit, because baseball, if you know the game, well, I played all the way through college, so I love baseball, but like every single pitch, the situation changes. And so the manager has a lot of control over that. And if you want to see a great manager, a guy that knows how to manage a game, just watch Stephen Vogt with the Cleveland Guardians. He is phenomenal. He manages that team. But baseball is second, and then basketball is third, because I'm not saying that there aren't great basketball coaches out there, because there are. Coach Pop and the rest of them. But what I'll say is this. With basketball, you could do like LeBron and just put together your super team and just be better than everybody that's out there. Or like the dream team in the Olympics or whatever. And the coach really doesn't have to do much because you're going to dominate it. We went through this with AAU. The AAU teams I coach, you roll up on some of these teams, you know, and all these guys are, yeah, sure, they're 13 years old, but they all hit, you know, puberty like 2 years ago. Looked like they drove themselves to the game. You know, they're all, you know, 6'9", 13-year-olds, you know, but that's how some coaches want to do it. They don't want to coach, they just want to win. And so basketball, it's easier to do that, only 5 guys on the floor, and so it's easier to kind of build that super team. But that's why it took so long to get here. This is this is the toughest decision to make in sports. So there you go. But we now have our coach in Todd Monken. Now, apparently another tough decision in sports is whether or not Bill Belichick deserved to be a first-time Hall of Famer on his first ballot. Nobody thought that was going to be a tough decision, but apparently it is. And so the legendary New England Patriots head coach, snubbed, will not be a first ballot Hall of Famer. I mean, remember, Belichick, head coach here, and wasn't very popular because he's the guy that got rid of Bernie. Bill Belichick got rid of Bernie because of his diminishing skills. And if you say diminishing skills in Cleveland, it's like a swear word, because everybody loved Bernie, but Belichick got rid of Bernie. What he didn't get was he did not receive the 40 of the 50 votes needed to secure the bid to the Pro Football Hall of Fame. And then his controversy broke out because of this ESPN article that said it was because of Spygate and Deflategate. When he was filming practices, or, you know, and then Brady's letting the air out of the ball, allegedly, both allegedly, you know, and then it was, you know, one of the voters was quoted as saying this, and it turned everything upside down, because they said the only explanation for the outcome was the cheating stuff. It really bothered some of the guys. And so, you know, and then Bill Polian, it was tied to him. Said he's the former Buffalo Bills and Indianapolis Colts general manager. And apparently he told them that he believed Belichick should wait a year before his induction as a penance for Spygate. And so Bill Polian then starts backing up. He's, I didn't really say that. I mean, you know, he's back. Now, here's what always happens in these situations. It's like the truth is typically somewhere in the middle. And so, whatever polling it's up, and he even said, I voted for him. Well, the truth is always somewhere in the middle. But the bottom line is this. The power players in the NFL, when they want to wield that power, they can, and they do. And if something like that was said, which sure seems like something like that was said, to keep them out for a year as penance, and then, you know, the guys all seem to go along with it. And, you know, it just got me wondering, kind of like Shedeur, what Shedeur was going through with the draft process. First round talent, drops to the 5th round. I mean, I'm not saying, I'm just saying, you know, or in the words of Forrest Gump, that's all I will say about that. So, but I mean, look at Gruden. There's 10 head coaching opportunities, and Gruden didn't even get a sniff because he's suing the league and everything, you know, and he's got the emails and everything else. Like you're telling me that, like, come on. Sounds like a band of brothers to me. So there you go. Belichick got Shedeur apparently. So, and that's all I will say about that. Now, one thing that is already in the Hall of Fame, of course, are the viewer comments. Of course they are. And today we will start with Robert Valley Jr., who says, hire the right coach, go Browns, Jim and D Haslam. Is that our first props ever for Jim and D Haslam on this show? I think it is. We got props for Jim and D. That's the first time. So that's awesome. And that's nice. And they did. I think they got the right guy. It was Schwartz or Monkin. I remember I wanted to build my super powerhouse of McDermott, the law firm. We got 2/3 of the law firm, so I'm happy. Remember, I wanted a law firm of McDermott, Monkin, and Schwartz. But we got 2/3 of the law firm. There's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that at all. And so I'm very happy. David Grashel, 19, says, Jim Schwartz needs to stay on defense. Well, David Grashel, you're getting your wish. He will stay there. He will run the defense. And so I don't see them letting Schwartz go. They said they wanted to keep him in the building. I would be very surprised if Schwartz does not remain in the building. LCD 812 says, why can't the coach pick his own staff? Who wants to sign up for that? Like, I don't see why Monken wouldn't sign up for that. When you come in, you know, and then you can hit the ground running, your focus has got to be on the offense and fixing the offense. There's so much to do with the offense. You don't have to do anything with the defense. And plus, all of the players love him. Like, why would you upend the apple cart that way? To me, you're doing the guy a favor by I think you're doing the guy a favor by keeping the DC around. So, you know, I'm all for it. Keep Schwartz around, you know, just to keep the locker room galvanized. Now, you know, get the offense fixed. That was the problem last year, was the offense. The defense and the defensive coordinator, not the problem at all. It's the only positive to come out of that season last year. At least we know now with Monkin, we'll get a better special teams coach. So we got that going for us too. Justin Marple -P5Y says, if the Browns, this is what we teased at the top, if the Browns want to be a good team next year, here's what they need to do. 1, get an experienced head coach that knows how to build quarterback. Justin, check. Todd Monken, check. Number 2, get Tate from Ohio State. All right, I've been screaming for that for weeks and months. Get Carnell Tate in the draft. All right. Number 3, spend the most on draft picks and linemen. Okay, we're going to do that. We're going to draft a bunch of linemen. We'll have some free agency money. We could get the tackle from Green Bay. We could get Baltimore center now. Monken's the head coach. He could talk him into coming over here. Lindenbaum, we could get him in here, right? You know, why not? He understands Monkin and what he wants to do. That'd be a huge get. And then the 4th one, fix our scheme. And Monkin will 100% do that. We've got the 2 big running backs with the Judkins and Sampson. Think of what, you know, Derrick Henry did in that offense with Monkin. Like, he's good. The running game, the passing game, the quarterback development, you get it all with Todd Monken. You get all of it. And so it's just great to see. It is great to see. And so I got a couple of texts coming in. The greatest talent evaluator, who we all know, but his name is Thraso Thrasavulu, says he likes that Monken is a year younger than Schwartz. So you got experience, but Monken is still younger. And so that's good to see. And Soda Pop Dave says, the search for the defensive coordinator, he's like, I hope that was part of the deal. And it is. Haslam said they want to keep him in there. And that's where we're at. So the Browns have a new head coach. It is Todd Monken. We can finally move forward and get this offense fixed. And I love the fact that he's from the division. I love that more than you know. And so now we can develop Shedeur, quit worrying about the quarterback situation, because, man, what he did with Lamar Jackson, if he can do 3/4 of that with Shedeur, he's got so much more to work with in the passing game with Shedeur than he had with Lamar. You know, now maybe he can even help develop Shedeur's running game a little bit more. It's all there. Total package. 1st-round talent, 5th round. Now we've got a guy who knows what the heck he's doing to take him and the offense and the team to the next level. All right. Thanks for bearing with the later post time, but we wanted the news broke, of course, right before we were going to post. We knew that was going to happen. I knew it was going to happen. I knew it would be somewhere around noon today because that's for the news. They get it out there at noon, and then they could all do it on the noon shows, and then they could build their stories in the afternoon, and then for the 5, 6, and 11 shows. That's why they do it. I knew it was going to happen that way. I even said it when I recorded just before it broke. And so when we re-recorded, I appreciate you having the patience, but we got a coach, man. I'm happy. I hope you guys are excited about this as I am. To have Todd Monken, somebody from the division, man. If you're going to get a first-time head coach, this is the way to do it. An offensive guy who's from the division and has experience like this, let's go. Let's go. Sign me up. Go Browns! We will see you next time.